Well, welcome along to round 8 out of 10 for the 2014 World Sports Series Championship here at GPVWC. Can you believe it? 3 rounds to go. You've got a month break after this round, but it is so close to the end of this championship, and what a championship it has been. We'll go into more details on that. My name's James Kirk, and taking you through the action with me tonight, back in the com box after I think it was a 2-round break, is Mr. Ben Hackerson. And here we are, Ben, at the Hungarian. Not exactly a track favoured by most drivers, this one. A lot citing it as one of their least favourite tracks, mostly due to its tight technical nature. Also, the demands on the tyres being much higher than at other tracks. A general warning going out to everyone to make sure that they stay within the track limits so that they are not cheating in any sort of way. But overall, going to be a real challenge for all the drivers out there hoping to do well.
Yeah, especially with the lack of overtaking opportunities here. It's going to be hard, especially for the guys with weight who's not going to qualify as well, and the people on race 2 with a reverse grid of 15 to 20.
Yeah, pole being very important here, and one person who will be hoping to get somewhere near that is Mikko Sukas. We welcome back Mikko after a huge break from GPVWC. Work commitments have let up, and he is back in a car, and in a car which we wouldn't expect him to be in. The Lusitania Porsche is what he's driving tonight, and we'll take you with him around this Hungarian circuit, breaking into turn 1. Here is a tight right-hander, and the key here is to take a tight enough line so you can power out as early as possible, heading down to this sort of second mini straight and into the very difficult, I find, turn 3 actually. It's a downhill left-hander, and if you don't brake early enough for that, you can go streaming off into the AstroTurf. Ruins your time completely. Now heading down into what I find actually to be one of the most difficult corners on this track. It's a fast left-hander over the brow of the hill. It's a blind corner, and this is where we'll see most drivers going wide, and anti-cuts there on the right will make sure that those drivers who do go wide will be suitably punished. Heading around this right-hander into the tight chicane up here in Sector 2. Bit of a weird one, this one as well, because the braking zones dependent on brake temperatures change from lap to lap, and then into the twisty, bendy section, which leaves us with the remainder of Sector 2. And Mikko Sukas four-wheel drifting around this first section onto the mini straight now and onto the faster bend. I find this bit very similar to Magnussen Beckett actually from Silverstone, and Mikko traversing it very nicely actually as we head into Sector 3 now. Much more tight, much more technical into this tight right-hander. You can really straddle the curve actually, I find there, and Mikko making sure that he does that, and then into a tight left-hander. Once again, you don't want to brake too late or go on the power too early, otherwise you go flying off wide. Cutting over the pit entry line and into this final right-hand corner. Got to try and maintain some decent speed around there. Mikko once again hanging it all out loose as we come onto the home straight once again, and your provisional pole time is a 1:46.4. In honesty, we've seen cars going 2 seconds faster than that.
Yep, the best time we saw in practice was a 44.4 by Harley Hamnet. Yeah, exactly 2 seconds off the pace. I found that he wasn't attacking the corners enough, especially turn 4. He looked like he had to brake halfway through the corner, just to not go wide. Maybe he was being careful with the track limits. Paul Watkins goes second, only 2 tenths behind.
That's actually quite disappointing for Paul, who was solidly in the top 10 in practice.
Yeah, he was 7th. Probably, yeah, going to be disappointed with that. It was Nikolai. And that was lag, sorry.
Yeah, let's have actually. Oh wow! So Marius Nikolai in the TWR and not in the Drake. A change of positions.
Bryson has failed to set a time. Don't know why, but he's in the pits.
That's a shame because Bryson looks relatively good in these events as well. But let's actually have a check on Nikolai here, who did relatively well on his debut last time out. After taking part in the 24 Hours of Le Mans in relatively the same car with Drake, he went on to do pretty well there. And let's see what happens with him as he crosses the line. Usually in the top 15, nowhere near even pole from Sukas at the moment. A 1:47.4, very disappointing. As that's Simon Watman making his debut for the other Lusitania car, slotting in a full almost 3. Well, actually, it is, isn't it? 3.1 seconds off Sukas. So times very slow at the moment, but none of the hard hitters have yet to come through.
I'm not sure what they're waiting for, to be honest. We have seen a lot of rain in these past month. If it was me, I'd be going out as soon as possible. Hungary is a bit different to everywhere we've been recently.
Yeah, absolutely. If you saw the International Touring Cup broadcast last night, or if you've seen it on YouTube, myself and yourself, Ben, we both took part in it. Torrential rain in race 1, and it seems to be affecting all of Europe, unfortunately. But also, I think another more fundamental problem with so many people leaving it a bit late. We're almost halfway through this 50-minute qualification session now. Is surely, if everyone's leaving it so late, the track will actually be pretty clogged up by the end of it, and especially on such a short circuit and such a tight circuit as well. That's going to hold a lot of people up, you'd think.
Yeah, the tight bit. It's not that short. It's 1 minute 46 lap. Well, that's the pole time so far, so it's not that short. But if you do catch someone slow and there's not really anywhere to overtake, you're going to spoil both your laps trying to get through.
Let's have a look at Quinton.
Easterbeek's gone out on track.
Quinton Plain's just finishing his lap. I think we will have a little look at Easterbeek because Quinton Plain goes on a 49.7. Who else? I think Alexander van der Walder's coming round the final corner as well. Scored points on debut for the brand new T4 Motorsport team. A very credible debut at that as well, jumping Deltec and TTF in the team standings. Where does van der Walder put his car? P6 on a 148.8, essentially a 0.9. It's so close to it you might as well call it that. So not a bad effort from van der Walder, and yeah, Tommy Koiven's on up. And here's someone who might actually be able to do something. Martin Palm, he's just absolutely clouted the sleeping policeman on the outside of turn 1, which is not the thing to do. And Torrent Motorsport having a bit of a tricky time in their return to WSS, unfortunately. And in fact, I don't think that Martin's actually got another a teammate with him today either. So the oh so powerful Torrent Motorsports from 2 years ago suddenly not looking powerful at all, languishing down in P7 in the team's championship at the moment.
Yeah, in this close fight with Walters Automotive as well, but they've got Kevin Sickie. He looks very good today. Tommy Koiven's their other driver, so it looks like Walters is going to hang on to 6th for at least this round.
Well, they're in 5th actually now. Oh no, they are 6th. My apologies, I was looking at midnight. Yeah, doing very well, our Waters actually. Great team. As we watch Palm now finish up.
I'm thinking that Suka's lap isn't too bad, because we saw the field spread in practice was quite large.
Yeah.
Isn't that bad, especially on the super pole.
I mean, you're looking at all these times falling well below the marker. 152.2 set by Tommy Koiven. I have no doubt at all that Sukas's time is going to be beaten. But I tell you what,
for a first, just gone wide in.
Let's have a look at what Palm's doing first, though. He's rounding the final corner now. It's been a bit of a scrappy lap from the Swede. Can he beat Sukas, though? That's the big question. No, he can't. A 147.0. Crazy, crazy stuff. So let's actually look to Tallborg now. I think is Easterbeek up the road, though? That's what I'm wondering.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, let's look to Easterbeek, sorry.
Small mistake.
Yeah.
Worth mentioning, these two are both in the championship fight.
Also worth mentioning that Tallborg lost a heap of points last time in Hockenheim for track cutting and exceeding track limits. And so he went into Hockenheim as championship leader. He exited Hockenheim in 4th place, but only in 4th place by 7 points at that. The top 4 covered by those 7. It's a hugely close championship. Led now by Ruud Easterbeek on 45 kilograms of weight ballast on 141 points. Does he take pole position here provisionally? Yes, he does. A 145.5, and that is much better as he now looks to Tallborg to see what he can do.
Yeah, also the constructors are very close, because the top 4 drivers that are covered by those 7 points all drive for the 2 different teams. So they're also covered. I think it's also by 6 points, isn't it?
Yeah, 6 points are the top 2 is. Yes, but Tallborg then, with only 18 kilograms of weight ballast, beats out Easterbeek by 0.02 of a second. Tallborg has taken pole before in the Spanish Sports Series, but he is yet to take a race win, and that potentially just, well, it's affecting him now more than anything, because those race wins are crucial to be able to get higher at the table. Let's see who else is on a lap here. Or anyone of interest.
Matt Richards is.
Yeah, Matt Richards. The man who is at times absolutely brilliant. His Austria round along with his then teammate Lewis Redshaw, was absolutely incredible. The best haul of points that Midnight have scored all season. Unfortunately, after Austria, it was very much back to square one for them because they've been in and around, haven't they? They've not necessarily lit up the timesheets like they did last time. But in Matt Richards, they do have a decent, consistent driver and one who could potentially threaten for pole position here today. It's Tobias Olsen, that's a great effort from the Swede, going up into P3 for Enterprise GP. He was looking a bit shaky in practice as well, so that's a great lap as Cameron Brewster slots in behind. A 146.4 from the Bowser himself for Cosmo Autosport. We usually see him start in the reverse grid races, and Matt Richards comes across the start-finish line now to do a 145.8. He deposes Olsen and heads into P3 himself, does the Welshman, as we now have a little look. Let's go to Eric Strana. Eric Strana, when it comes to qualifying... Oh, sorry?
Don't worry.
Sorry, okay.
Damage.
Eric Strana, when it comes to qualifying, dominates just a tad. Whereas everyone else, we've got Easterbeek, Torborg, Hamnet, Lopez and Strana. Those are you guys who've taken a pole position this year. Strana has taken 3 of them, whereas everyone else has taken 1. When it comes to one lap qualifying, this is usually the man to watch out for.
Yeah, Ice Cold have got more than half of the poles this season so far. So, and I think out on track as not on a lap. So they're the 2 to watch out for. Strana's still not got any weight. He's in 6th position, 1 point off Fran Lopez. About 40 off the lead, just less than 40 off the lead.
It's strange, isn't it? When we saw him take those RF scam penalties from Canada, we thought it might be championship over, but in the long term, this may actually have really helped Strana. He rounds the final corner now. We'll actually keep an eye on Mike Bell as he's on the lap as well. A race winner here in that aforementioned Canada round. Strana, though, takes it by 0.5 of a second. Incredible lap, and Mike Bell slots in 8th, but that's a brilliant time from Strana. We've only seen 3 drivers be able to beat that time, and those 3 were Siggy, Canapino, and Hamnet. Siggy on a lap. He's going... much of it. But... No, we've just cottoned onto the back of this, haven't we? And he's going around the end of Sector 2 now. Definitely one of the more... He attacks
the corners a lot more than Sukas did at the start of the session.
It's notable, isn't it? And looking much more comfortable as well.
Yeah.
Let's see, heading into Sector 3 we go now. Bit slow.
A lot more. And that looked like he took a lot of speed through that corner compared to the cars I've been watching.
I think he could have cut a bit more of it though. I mean, you can really get away with that corner. The rules here at GPVWC make sure you have 2 wheels within the curbing and white lines at all time. And me practicing the Formula Challenge cars for the Tuesday event next week. Really doesn't make much difference to that car. What can Siggy do? Oh, wow. That is a poor lap, actually, from Siggy. A 145.5 puts him in P2, but still doesn't take it from Strana. If you ask me, there's only 2 people now who can take this from the Swedish driver, and that's Harley Hamnet and Gustin Canapino.
He's just miles off. He's been off the track.
Well, Hamnet?
Turn 4, yeah.
Let's see whether we can make it up over the rest of the lap. I'm also keeping an eye. Actually, no, it seems that Harley Hamnet is going to be the furthest up the track. And it's strange as well. We've seen this on a consistent basis from Hamnet. He lights up the timesheets in practice, but when under the threat of qualifying on that Super Pole lap, he just seems to falter a bit as Fran Lopez goes into P6 for Ice Cold. A bit of a naughty boy in Super Cup. Fran actually had a very, very competitive round last time in Hockenheim. Took pole position and a race win. Though our attention now is on Harley Hamnet himself. Yeah, he doesn't look comfortable.
Near the speed that Siggy did through that corner.
Not comfortable at all. I fear he may actually not even qualify within the top 5 here. Not looking like a good lap at all. Maybe he's found something somewhere else. Round the final corner we go as the checker flag flies. Anybody not out on lap? I'm sorry, mates, but you're not going to be taking part in this session. As he crosses the line to do a 144.8, and I don't know how he managed to scoop that one up, but he did. Great lap from...
to look fast, it just has to be fast.
Yeah. Looks deceived, don't they? Looks deceived, and we now look to David Yunt for our next man in the top half of the table, doing a good lap. Currently second on 139 points, only beating out Sven de Vries on race wins his Yunt. Again, he's another person we usually see star in the second race. What can he do in qualifying here today? Oh dear. The 36 kilograms of penalty weight, leaving him down in P13. That's not good at all. Next up on the road is Agustin Canapino, though. The man who I think now is the only sort of competition to Harley Hamnet for this pole position. And he crosses the line to go. 145.4. So that's P3 for Canapino. And actually, perhaps there might be a late challenge from Sven de Vries, actually. He's going to be the last person to cross the line here. The American in third. He does have that weight, and that's one thing that Hamnet certainly does not have. He comes across the line, Sven de Vries. He looked a bit scrappy to a 145.7. So there we go. Harley Hamnet takes his second pole position of the year, and this time he doesn't have a 10th place grid penalty to make the occasion bittersweet. Second, once again, strong as ever in qualifying. Eric Strana, Gustin Canapino third, Kevin Siggy fourth, Torborg fifth, Heasterbeek sixth, De Vries seventh, Richard eighth, Fran Lopez ninth, and a very impressive qualifying, if I may say so myself, from Tobias Olsen, P10 in a car which didn't look at all stable when he was in practice.
It's a fairly, what you'd say, standard top 10. Really any surprises in that? It looks like it's going to be a very good race as well, competitive.
Absolutely.
Those quick guys are in the middle of it.
Yeah, well, there's David Junt in there in P15. He also one to watch out for. Palm, Nikolai, they both underperformed.
I know David Junt I was talking to him last race. He aims to get a good position for race 2, and he'll give up a good spot in race 1 just so he can win race 2. So he's not going to be that disappointed with 14th.
That's an interesting
position.
That's an interesting strategy, but risky. I mean, what he's relying on there is for all of his championship competitors to fail in one of their races. Yeah. Well, yeah.
I don't think he feels he has the pace to win the championship on pace outright, so he has to take a risk. That's what I think his thinking is behind it.
Well, we'll have to see whether it pays off for him. Because usually I say anybody who... Well, we've got 150 points left on offer here. That's a maximum, by the way. So 25 points for a win. We have 2 races in each evening, of course. We've got the 15 to 20 reverse grid if you haven't been with us before for race 2. 150 points on paper. Mathematically, Ben, that means that every single driver in this championship today is still in with a chance of winning the title. We know that's not true. We just know that's how close the field has been. But theoretically, I could say that any of the top 10, if they have a great string of events and everyone above them doesn't, they could still be in with a chance all the way down to Siggy and P10 because they have the pace to be able to pull something out the bag.
There's a few people in that, like, apart from the top 4, I'm looking at Lopez, Strana, Hamnet and Canapino and Siggy. There's 5 people that can potentially make a late charge for the championship, with the guys having a weight at the front, but they've qualified 4th, 5th and 6th, 3 of the top championship contenders in Torberg, Heasterbeek and De Vries. But 3 of those guys that I just mentioned out-qualified them. So if one of them wins and then has a very good race too, they're going to be right on the back of them, about 20 points behind. Do it again next round and they're going to be right in the mix.
But then again, there are only 3 rounds left, aren't there? So time is running out for those who want to make a late dash for the title, to make it stick and to have even a small chance. Let's look at the Teams Championship now, as we're at it. So we've very much established the Teams Championship is now being fought between 3 teams. Though really, I think that it's very much down to 2 teams now. Adonis Engineering take the lead of the championship for the first time this year, away from Smile Power Racing. They're on 280 points to Smile's 274. The aforementioned third team, Ice Cold Racing, is then all the way back on 239, though they still have an outside chance, we feel. The battle for 4th is very much between Enterprise GP and Midnight Motorsport. Enterprise on 181, Midnight on 174. Should be nice and close between those 2, actually. I think with Harley Hamnet and Tobias Olsen having the good qualifyings that they had, and with actually it's pretty close, isn't it? Because you have Hamnet on pole, Canapino 3rd, Richards in 6th, and then Olsen in 10th. So it's a nice open one, that battle for 4th, and it'll be interesting to see how that goes into the next 3 rounds. Then we have the battle for the upper parts of the midfield between Waters in 140, such a revelation they found in Siggy. He's been brilliant for them for the half season that he's done. Torrent is in 134 points, and Mir Zurich, who have that race win under their belt with Mike Bella on 109. Then we have the true battle for the midfield, and what a scrap this is. Cosmo on 92, Drake on 84, Aurora on 63, though they've now pulled out of the championship, Lusitania on 60, and Triple 20 on 54. No idea where those guys will end up, especially if one of them has a freak result. And then the battle for the bottom, waged between loads of teams here, where even a small result can make a huge load of difference. TWR on 24, Motorsport Safety Foundation, who's now pulled out, on 19, Woods on 18, Racing Team Stroton on 11, Tay4 on 3, TTF on 1, Deltec on 0, and SGP, who pulled out at the very start of the year, also on 0. And the fact of the matter is that you have no team really in a world of their own, whether it be at the top of the table or the bottom of the table. Everyone has something to fight for, and it's a real testament to how good this championship has been.
Yeah, I think it's been not by far, but the best championship we've had this year. Like in terms of consistency of good races and very close championship. The weight penalties have seemed to close up the championship a lot compared to last year, where we had Hardwick and Cooper run away pretty much every race. Both races.
I feel really honoured, actually, because I get to commentate here on GPVWC on two fantastic championships. And though I would say Super Cup for me has the better on-track action, race to race, the fact of the matter is that in the 2 and a bit years that I've done sim racing, never before have I seen both championships so closely contested before. And I don't think we've had a real boring race yet either. You know, it may not be up to the standards of the Super Cup races, where you have battles over the field, you can't see what's going on, there's no real dull spells necessarily. But these guys have just been putting on an absolutely fantastic show, and the faith in this league, or in this series, as it is now, shows in the league discussion. We've opened up league discussion on the GPVWC forums on what the league would like to see next year in 2015. And the rather overwhelming opinion of WSS is, keep it as it is. It's an extremely fun championship, and it's not only fun for us, the spectators watching it, but it's fun for the drivers as well, as the field is simply so close.
Yeah, another thing I'd like to point out is Smile feel that if they win this championship, they get to move up to Super Cup next year, which is a big incentive for them. I know Mike wants to do that. So,
I'm not sure how
much.
I
think Edenis going to win the Cup championship anyway.
Well, mind you, I think we saw that with the 6-axis racing, didn't we? They didn't necessarily take part in the career ladder. I know their 2 drivers at the time, Thomas Jacobs and Cameron Brewster, did, but because of their good results in World GT,
and Masters as well.
And Masters, invested interest, that helped them in their cause to move up. So, I mean, Smile's doing well in Formula Challenge anyway, and I think on the basis of their Formula Challenge results, they'd be likely to move up anyway. But of course, winning the Team Championship here in WSS does them no harm at all. But warm-up is now over, and Ben, I must press you for an answer. Who do you think's going to win race 1 here?
But every time I'm going to say it again, Eric Strana.
You think? Wow.
Yep.
Well, I've actually got an interesting fact for you here, Ben. The fact is that, as we're for... Actually, no, we don't have any R-Factor man here in WSS. That's brilliant. The interesting fact I want to bring up to you is that race winners on a certain race evening, never before have we had a race winner from that evening go on to the next evening and won a race on that day. So, for example, I think there was... Say, for example, Sven de Vries and Ruud Heesterbeek won a race apiece in one evening. Those two didn't win a race the next evening, and it's been like that for the entire championship. So, unfortunately, the unlucky people, I should say, people in those positions, are Fran Lopez and Sven de Vries. So maybe you are right,
look like they're going to win this one. So.
No. We'll see whether the mould can be broken.
Any predictions before you go through the grid?
Oh, I'm going to be a bit biased and go for my own driver. I think Hamlet's, I think Hamlet's got the pace on this one, and, well, he's shown in qualifying. For once, not a disappointment in qualifying. A raggedy lap, but he made it work on pole position for Enterprise GP, followed closely by the ever-impressive Eric Strana. Augustin Canapino for Midnight Motorsport is in P3 with Kevin Siggy, P4 for Waters Automotive. Jesper Torborg, P4 in the championship, carrying 18 kilograms of weight. Starts P5 with championship leader Ruud Heesterbeek just behind him, carrying 45 kilograms of weight for Adonis. His teammate Sven de Vries is P7 and P3 in the championship, so carrying 27 kilograms of weight penalty. And Matt Richards is behind him in the Midnight with Fran Lopez, who's 5th in the championship, carrying 9 kilograms of weight penalty for Ice Cold, and the grid is the top 10 is rounded out by Tobias Olsen, the Swede driving the Enterprise GP car. Cameron Brewster, the underdog that we all like to see do well, is P11 for Cosmo Autosport with Miko Sukas P12 for Lusitania. Mike Bell's P13 for Zurich Racing with Paul Watkins P14 for TWR. David Junt, who is P2 in the championship, can you believe, with 36 kilograms of weight penalty. Starts P15 for Smile Power with Morten Bernerson. P16 for Drake. Riku Sarpia starts P17 for Zurich Racing with Martin Palm P18 for Torrent Motorsports. Marius Nikolai starts P19 for TWR with Rob Mason rounding out the top 20 for Cosmo Autosports. We then have Ilya Picarlo, P21 for Triple 20 with the 2 Tay4s of Thomas Hins in Alexander van der Woude in P22 and P23. I think shout out to Thomas Hins, actually. That's a very good qualifying for him, considering he's not too at home with these cars. Miles Dixon, welcome back, Miles. Been a long time since I've seen you race. He starts P24 for Triple 20, filling in for Bart DeVos. And welcome to Simon Watman, never seen you at all at this league. So driving for Lusitania Racing and starting not last, which is always a bonus. Quinton Plain starts P26 for TGF Racing, with Marius Van Wyck starting P27 for Deltec. And the grid is rounded out by Racing Team Stroton's Boyd Bryson, well out of position, but failed to qualify after making a mistake on his hot lap.
Only 28 drivers tonight. Potential for an interesting first grid pole sitter we had from Germany last year.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right,
I'll tell you what,
race
though.
1, so we need to concentrate on that.
No Victor Silva, though.
Yep.
So, unfortunately, the everyone's favourite Portuguese man is...
How Jesper's lined up as well, very aggressive.
Oh, gosh, yeah, he's almost done the middle of the track, isn't he? You can get away with that, though, in R Factor, and I think there's going to be some people starting around the corner. Oh, no, maybe not. I think they're going to get away with it. Lovely. So, Boyd Bryson just shuffles into his grid box. Also going pretty aggressive is the South African. As we look to the lights now, here at the Hungarian, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights. Here we go. It's race 1. And we're off and away. And oh, an awful start for Harley Hamnet. He was really caught off the line, but a great start from Augustin Canapino. I think actually Harley Hammet's just about going to get this, because he's been able to hold off Canapino to the right. As they go 3 wide into turn 1. Augustin Canapino around the outside. Lovely move from the Argentine. And from P3, he jumps Strana and Hamnet as we go into turn 3 now. Canapino leads, so Hamnet is right on his tail. Strana fending off Siggy, and Torborg's had a good start. Heesterbeek and Sven de Vries then 6 and 7 with Matt Richards 8. Tobias Olsen's had a good start. P9 and Fran Lopez and Cameron Brewster are battling away in P10 as 11 as we head up into this left-hander. So difficult, but it seems like everyone's making it through okay.
Through. No spins whatsoever. Very
that's
good to
brilliant.
See. Oh, Cameron Brewster just said that.
Oh,
no, that's a lag spike. Sorry.
Okay, that's all good. I was afraid then. I wanted to see him stay there, but a little bit of a bump from Strana on Hamnet into the chicane here, and what that has done is that has taken all the pressure.
Now it's Brewster. Brewster's off. Now he's off.
Now he's fully off. Okay.
Yep.
Siggy's off there. Goodness me. Siggy going onto the sand in this tight section. You were saying how difficult overtaking is going to be here, and this really proving a testament to your prediction there. But what Strana is effectively doing here is keeping Hamnet so occupied that Augustin Canapino is going to probably rush away into the distance. He's not exactly leaps and bounds ahead of Hamnet, but the gap is clear to see as we enter these final 2 corners for the first time here at the Hungarian this season. One of the earlier races in the season last year. One of the last ones here this year. As we cross the line, Hamnet going very wide. Goodness me. But either way, it's Canapino leading from Hamnet, Strana, Siggy, Torborg, Heesterbeek, De Vries, Richards, Olsen, and Lopez rounding out the top 10.
Junt's now in 14th, which is where he started, I believe, so he's no progress.
Oh, it's Siggy! Sorry to cut you off, but Siggy.
Yep.
Takes Strana, and Strana going across the anti-cuts, and yes, but Torborg might get looking as well. It's the 2 Adonai going to battle behind, heading into turn 3. Hamnet's really... Oh, wow, Siggy, yeah. Right around the outside of Strana. So, Yeah, so he's already taken Strana. What that's done, so Hamnet now free of Strana, and this has been a feature of Hamnet's racing, really. He's been bottle corked, and then once he's been let loose, he has been rampant. Siggy onto the podium once again, though. Was really robbed of one last time, actually. Him and Strana were taken out by an errant Sven de Vries after contact with Canapino into the hairpin at Hockenheim. We're looking good once again. Here is the Austrian and overtaking Strana with ease. Torborg, not really much he can do, especially with 18 kilograms of weight penalty.
No, I think those three will be happy just to sit there and get very little weight for the next race. Jesper's the only one that will get, but we've got 14 laps to go, so we can't really start talking about that. The guys in front look like they're going to battle, and on a track that's hard to overtake, I can see contact happening.
Oh, and look at the battle here for P9 and 10. Fran Lopez has just re-overtaken Tobias Olsen. But behind Olsen's been a cracking scrap between Mikko Sukas, Martin Palm, who started well outside the top 15. He's now up into P12, and Mike Bell is there as well with David Junt and Paul Watkins. Actually, Paul Watkins a bit off that, so it's a battle really from P10 down to P14 as Fran Lopez streams away, but lovely to see everyone battling, and nice and cleanly as well, a far cry from what we saw last year.
Looking for any close battles. The two Edness are pretty close, but apart from that,
well,
not really.
Perhaps the lead.
Sarpillo is overtaking Van der Velde for 18th.
I'm also looking at the lead here. Hamnet has caught right back up onto Canapino. Something's happened down there. I think it's Sukas and Palm battling out, but look at this, Hamnet and Canapino. I said once you let the bottle cork out of Canapino, he's up and away, and the man who he actually took Canapino's seat at Enterprise GP, did Hamnet. These two close rivals in the Drivers' Championship now.
Spun and hit Sukas off.
Oh no. So all Palm's good work gone to waste, and yeah, he's went very wisely keeping out of that. Where has Sukas dropped to? Goodness me.
23rd now.
Oh, 24th even, 25th, so a real shame for Sukas and Palm. It's looking so good for Sukas on debut, and well, that means that Paul Watkins is up into P13, David Junt up into P12, Nikolai up into P14, and Rob Mason into that final point slot of P15. But back up to the front, we've still got the top 3 covered by a second, the top 8 still covered by 4 seconds. It's really close here at the front, and a massive gap already developing back to Fran Lopez in 9th, sorry.
It's close the whole way through. It's only 20 seconds back to the guy in last, Marius Van. Very good first few laps all round. One of the best we've seen all year.
Yeah.
And it looks like he's lining up a move.
A bit of smoke coming out of the back of Canapino, isn't there? Real load of smoke.
Seen that all year. I'm not sure if it's mechanical or anything. But it goes to the outside, looking for the cutback. Doing that.
Oh, he's got a lovely cutback, but he's now going to be on the outside for turn 3 here. And in fact, Canapino's got a lovely exit out of turn 1. And Hamnet,
deep.
Yeah, Hamnet having a little peekaboo on the inside, wasn't he? But couldn't do much. And he's got to be careful because, as we rightly say, Siggy and Strana are not too far behind at all. And without weight penalty of that, in fact, the top 4 completely without weight penalty. One mistake will see you lose a bunch of positions, especially as the likes of Torborg, Heasterbeek, De Vries and Richards all very close behind still as well. So heading now into the chicane once again. Hamnet running out slightly wide into the chicane, or the chicken as Fernando Alonso likes to call it. Out we go once again, and yeah, very close up. It seems like so many of these guys are equally matched. There's no real gains in a certain sector.
Oh yeah, I can't see any. Like, we saw a massive field spread in practice, but as soon as it goes to the race, it doesn't look like anyone's got much pace over anyone at all. The only guy that's by himself is Fran Lopez in 9th.
And to be brutally honest, that's where I'd want to be. No one to worry about, just getting on with your own race. I'm sure Fran, being the aggressive driver that he is, yeah, he'll want to just get a little bit higher. He'll want to be closer to this battle for essentially first down to 8th as we head onto the home straight once again with the leaders to head on to lap 5 of 15, a third through this race. Hamnet tucks up nicely into the slipstream of Canapino, but it just seems to me that Canapino might very well be running lower wing here. As Hamnet looks to the inside, very close. But yeah, Canapino looking really hooked up here, and I do feel like he's running slightly higher wing, which around most tracks in WSS would probably be a hindrance. But around Hungary, very different situation, I would say.
Yeah, very much a track for downforce here. Especially because the only place to overtake is the straight, but you will lose so much time through the corners if you've got low downforce here. Especially that corner, you need a lot of downforce to get speed through.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was just going to say the two Adonai were going into battle once again, but they've been close or race. Heasterbeek still leading Sven de Vries, P1 and P3 in the championship. I think they're just going to be wanting to stay safe, surely. They've got a team's championship to win, and at the moment they are scoring much more than Smile.
They've got to win drivers as well. I think both Smile and Adonis will want both championships.
Absolutely.
At this stage, I don't think De Vries and Heasterbeek will battle. Too much to lose at this stage, but I don't know if they talk. I don't know much of the team dynamic.
Oh, believe me, I know them well. Yep. Oh, here we go.
De Vries has been let through by Heasterbeek.
Interesting. I do know Sven and Ruud very well, and they are very, very good friends, the two of them, always in communication with each other, and no doubt they'll be on a team radio of some sort, whether it be TeamSpeak or Skype, and they'll certainly be keeping in touch with each other. And I'm sure that Ruud would have said, look, you know, you've got the less weight, Sven, go through, because you're obviously faster. Looking faster now, though, is Harley Hamnet, who's had a great third sector. Actually, he was right on the back of Canapino throughout that third sector. But once again,
he's got himself in front, but he's gone slightly wide.
And that's really nice escorting out to the edge of the track from Canapino. The Hamnet right on the back of Canapino, and suddenly the pendulum has completely turned. Hamnet all over Canapino, but he's got to be careful once again, because if he makes one wrong move here, Siggy will be right through there, because he's an extremely opportunistic driver. And
he's right on their tail as well.
Oh yeah, he's broken away from Strana very, very well, has the Austrian. And actually they were going side by side, and a little bit of contact there going through the blind left-hand corner there. And Siggy is looking hungry, isn't he? And actually wouldn't put it too far past him to potentially be in with to potentially have a chance of winning this race.
Notice he's hit the back of Hamnet again. I don't want to do that too many times. Affect the damage and the drag on the car. He looks like at the moment he's just biding his time. He's trying to set up for a. He's taking the wider line into the corners for a better exit, whilst the two in front battle. Lost his element of surprise now, so.
Hamnet knows he is there.
Yeah, if it was me, I'd just sit there for a few laps. We've still got 10 laps to go.
This has very been a theme in WSS. We've not seen it like every race, but there always seems to be the top three drivers as Hamnet. Oh my word, having a little look on Agustin Canapino. I think if Canapino didn't know that Hamnet was going to be there, he certainly does now, all over the back of the Argentine. And actually, I wouldn't say that Hamnet's got more of a chance down to turn one. I think if an overtaking move is going to be made for the lead, it's going to be in sector 3.
For the second corner. He looks like he's going to be very defensive into turn 1 every single time. There might be a chance for an opportunistic move somewhere in sector 2 or 3. But,
as here comes Hamnet, sorry.
Possibly around the outside. He's squeezing him to the inside. Bit of contact.
Oh, and yeah, I think that's...
got it right. Yeah.
And here comes Siggy. Oh, it's never going to work. It was all a bit bunched up, and Hamnet now defending for his life off Kevin Siggy. I think that was actually really...
Strana as well, almost.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he has. Fair play to Torborg. Weight means nothing in these situations, and when it comes to Jesper Torborg, the ever-consistent Danish driver, looking to get on the action as well. But Canapino, that was really good defensive driving, just putting his car in all the right places and making sure that Hamnet was put off as much as possible, because ultimately Canapino will just want Kevin Siggy to start battling with Hamnet as hard as he can so that the pressure can be relieved once again. But Hamnet doesn't seem like he wants to be giving up that pressure anytime soon, does he? Right on the back of Canapino once again.
Yeah, Canapino looks like he's got the braking points absolutely nailed in sector 1, so I don't see anyone overtaking him there.
I did say sector 3. Well, 3 I did say was the place to go, and Hamnet pulling out the slipstream very early. And yeah, as little slipstream as it is still a slipstream, and I fear Hamnet may very well need as much help as he can get. Into penultimate corner we go now. Ever so close, just to give you an idea.
His line too much for me. He's looking down the inside at every corner, trying to put him off, but he's not keeping the speed through the corner. Got a good run now.
Let's have a look. Heading on to lap 7. Oh no, 8 of 15 even, sorry. Yeah, Canapino does go very wide. Interesting to see what Siggy does here. Siggy actually pulls out of the slipstream and makes sure that he's getting the optimum line into turn 1 as Hamnet makes a dramatic dive out to the right-hand side. Canapino, though, he locks up into turn 1, though Hamnet mounts the curbing and once again, unable to do anything. And once again, Canapino will go ultra defensive into turn 3. And Hamnet, he looks to the inside, doesn't he? He's trying every which way to get past the Argentine, but he simply cannot do it. And, well, I don't know about you, Ben,
he's got to run on him as well now.
Yes, something's got to give.
Yeah, something's going to happen in the next few laps.
Kevin Siggy up and alongside Hamnet at certain points on this track, but he's not able to get anything done.
The thing is with these three is they've got nothing really to lose for the championship. They've got to either win or they're out of the championship hunt, really.
Well, this is all for the this is all for the midfield positions, isn't it? As I see, back there, Mike Bell and Tobias Olsen in a scrap, and I see Olsen's actually lost his front bumper. To give you an idea of what the other point scorers are like, we've got Marius Nikolai 13th, Paul Watkins 14th, and Ricky Sarpia in 15th, but it's hard to take your eyes away from this lead battle, isn't it? The top 5 drivers separated still by 2 seconds on lap 8 of 15. We're over halfway through this race.
I think that's turn 13.
Yeah.
Not entirely sure.
Hamnet tries to get a better exit, but
every single corner.
Is this perhaps Hamnet's plan? You know, is he just trying to get? Is there potentially more tyre wear for Canapino because he's taking the defensive line?
We saw last year the tyre wear was really bad, especially in the career ladder. Not too sure how much it's going to affect this race, but we saw Strana do it in Canada on De Vries. Maybe that's Siggy what Siggy's doing, but he's too an aggressive driver for me to make that strategy work. It could be what Strana's doing as well. He's only 7 tenths behind the 3 of them.
The top 5... Oh my word. The top 5 covered by 1.3 seconds. You couldn't get closer racing if he tries. Kevin Siggy tries around the outside of Hamnet, and he could actually have a go here. Hamnet's going to... Yeah, Hamnet's just about pulled away there. But this is as close as anything. I was saying... You know, Super Cup's got brilliant races every time. It seems that WSS, this is the time to respond. And now Hamnet's the one under pressure. And look at Eric Strana there as well. He's right into this battle as well. And Torborg not too far behind either. It's all kicking off here at the Hungaroring.
Yeah, it's been a very good season at GPVWC all round for good races, especially for the lead. There hasn't been too many races where somebody's run off. In Super Cup or in this league as well.
Crazy stuff.
Nikolai looks very quick in 12, just to point out. Tobias Olsen has dropped off. Where's Yunt gone? Yunt's dropped behind Nikolai.
Well, you're saying that was his strategy though, surely? He doesn't care so much,
possibly,
he wants to reverse
it
grid.
Looks like Nikolai has been very quick so far. He's overtaken his teammate, he's got past Yunt, he's right on the back of Olsen. And Bell's got a massive gap to Olsen now.
Well, Olsen's lost his front bumper, isn't he?
Probably why.
Yeah, that's probably why. Also, I must apologise to Marius. He's German, not Italian. Who believe it? Well, you've seen what Hamilton thinks of Rosberg in the papers. Apparently he's not German. Who knows what nationality people are when they come into this league? What we do know is that Harley Hamnet is still right on the back of Canapino. And actually, over the course of this lap, those two have been able to pull out a little gap on Siggy. And so it's now very much a battle for third and a battle for first and second. But we're on lap 10 of 15 now. Something still hasn't given, Ben. And I'm really worried now because, yeah, it's simmering, isn't it? It's simmering into a nice stew. And I'm afraid that I am afraid that it's going to boil over into something much worse.
I think Harley's a fairly consistent driver in terms of he doesn't really attack too hard and he won't dive bomb. I could be wrong, but at the moment I'm thinking his best move would be a switcheroo into turn 2. It looks like he's on the outside every time and Augustin's kind of just sitting in the middle of the track squeezing him out wide, and so he's got a good line himself. But if Harley's not quite alongside and he can switch to the inside, that could be the possible move. But it's quite hard to get the braking right there, because if you brake too late, you've gone wide and you've let him back through.
Absolutely. As we look as these guys coming into Sector 3 now, trying to gain as much advantage as possible by running out right to the ragged edge. And this is fascinating. It really is. But what would make it more fascinating is if someone just took that bold move and decided, okay, away with all the safety precautions, I need to do something here in order to get a better position.
Yeah, but if they get it wrong, 20-second penalty will put them in 10th place. So
Yeah.
there is quite a lot to lose points-wise. But as I said before, it's do or die for these guys now, championship-wise.
Actually, that's astonishing, the gap between 9th and 10th. 9 seconds between Lopez and Bell. They're almost like they're in different classes. As once again, Canapino goes defensive into turn 1. Hamlet's taking a better line, though, actually. And is Hamlet going to try and get to the inside here? He just doesn't have the drive out, though. Every time he looks to have a better drive, but then Canapino says nope and just takes exactly the right line.
As I said before, his sector 1 looks very good. He doesn't look as good for all the other sectors, but Canapino looks like he's got it in sector 1, which is the only sector you really need if you want to stay ahead of someone.
As Marius Nikolai does eventually overtake Tobias Olsen for P11 and P12. Actually, no, the two of them are... Yeah, the two of them are going side by side, but look at this train that Olsen has developed now. He's got Nikolai Yunt and the other TWR Paul Watkins in there as well. It would be a great drive for him to be able to hold off these guys, though I think Nikolai's going to have a... No, he's not going to have a go around the outside. He's backed out of that one, hasn't he? And,
where has Fran Lopez gone?
Where has Fran Lopez gone? Is it just timing? It is timing.
Yep, just timing.
He needs to sort that out, he really does. As looking back up at the front, looks like Canapino's pulled out a large amount of time on Hamlet now. 7/10 of a second between the front two.
That sector as well. Unless my timing's gone.
Don't worry, I've still got
saying 2.5 tenths back to Hamlet, which clearly isn't the case.
No, Canapino's had a cracking lap so far, actually. Perhaps now is the time he's putting the power down. Perhaps he's been saving tyres rather than using them up. And they're heading round the final corner now. Going to be heading on to lap 12 of 15.
Looks like he's let through Watkins now. Or either that or Watkins overtake him and Brown the outside. But he's definitely setting up for race 2. He will probably know that Jesper, Sven and Ruud are 5th, 6th and 7th. So if he can win the second round race even, he might take the championship lead.
Well,
but another thing to point out is, do you really want the championship lead when it's this close and the weight penalties are that significant in these cars?
It is a massive balancing act, isn't it? It's almost like you're gambling with what you think other people are going to do. I think Marius Nikolai does fully overtake Tobias Olsen into turn 1. We'll have a little look to see whether the Swede can get back Nikolai. He has a little stab. But nope, that is now Nikolai's position. A lovely move from the German. At least there are some overtakes going on this track. And heading into the middle section. I see. Oh, has Marius Nikolai been re-overtaken? No, he has. It's Fran Lopez again. Sort your timing out, Fran. It's awful. But yeah, this lead battle. It is strangely... It's so tense, but it just doesn't seem like any of them are going to make that dive necessarily. I mean, Howley Hamlet looking out to the side once again, but he just can't do anything. There is literally nothing he can do.
First retirement after 10 laps as well, which is good.
Who's that?
So
Van der Wilde.
Van der Wilde with a DNF. I'm not entirely sure what happened. Wasn't disconnected. He hasn't left the game, but it's a DNF.
What a shame from the Tayfor driver who scored his first points in GPVWC and Tayfor's first points full stop last time in Hockenheim, and 14th event in race 1, not starting off so well. Especially after being out-qualified by Hinz as well. You never want to be out-qualified by your teammate. That's the first person you want to beat. Heading into turn 1 once again, though. The one person that Hamlet and Siggy are going to want to beat is Canapino, but quite frankly, he's looking unbeatable at the moment.
Like he's driving a different racing line this race.
Yeah.
Inside every corner. Nobody can get through. It's like Monaco, pretty much. As long as you're on the inside and they can't get through, you're fine.
It's less forgiving, Monaco. The only difference is that there's no barriers. There's hardly Hamlet. I mean, he's even having a look at this corner up here. As Canapino going wide there. And Harley Hamlet... Oh, does he really want to go around the outside there? Oh, I think Siggy can have a stab here. Maybe not. Wow, Hamlet just about staying ahead. He's got to be careful, though. Surely it's better to just be a bit slow around that corner and keep your line behind Canapino rather than try to go flat around the outside. It's just not going to happen, is it?
gave me a lot of tips for Formula Challenge on Tuesday.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it, watching these guys? Canapino providing a masterclass in line, but he does seem to be struggling once again. He had that wonderful lap a couple of laps ago, but now he's been reeled in, hand over fist by Hamnet and Siggy. Strana and Torborg fallen away once again from this battle, and the two Adonai still in battle in 6th and 7th. But it's going to need something special, I think, to be able to take the win away from Agustin Canapino. And it would be, amazingly, Canapino's first win of this season. It would be Midnight second. And this is pretty crucial as well, actually, because if you think about it, it's the battle for 4th, Enterprise versus Midnight. And given where Olsen and Richards are in comparison to their teammates, Midnight, if my maths is correct, should be overtaking Enterprise. So lots to be fought for here as Hamnet tries around the outside once again. He's going to try and get the cutback now. But once again, he just can't do anything. He's going to come up alongside Canapino. Well, not even that. He's nowhere near him, is he? He just tries to get into the line of Canapino. Oh, almost cutting off Siggy there. I think he did cut off Siggy. And Canapino just taking his own pace around these corners, isn't he? He's making sure that Hamnet doesn't take advantage of the extra grip, which he evidently has. And he's just, as I say, he's putting his car in all the right places. Very much doing a Kovalainen from Monaco 2012 in Formula 1. You know, he's able to keep the faster drivers behind him simply by going at his own pace even and knowing where the defensive line is around this track.
Pace isn't even that slow. He's done a 44 in the race. And they've all been like 44, 45 to 45.5s.
Blimey.
Looks irritated. How are they?
And why wouldn't he be? It's the penultimate lap.
Yeah.
One more lap to be able to take the race win. I don't see these guys getting many
points in the second race as well with the weight and this track being so hard to overtake.
Oh, gosh no. Absolutely not. Could provide us with yet another surprise winner. Well, I mean, mind you, Canapino, I wouldn't say he's necessarily a surprise winner, but we were talking earlier about the fact that no two drivers have gone on to win an event in consecutive events. They've had to wait or they've had to wait essentially a month before they win the next WSS race, at least. And coming around the final corner now, Canapino, Hamnet and Siggy. So close all race.
Final lap now, isn't it?
That it is the final lap. And if either of these drivers wants to get a better position, they're going to have to do something pretty spectacular. It's not going to work.
Siggy. No, he's far back.
Hamnet's going to try... Oh, he's got a great exit, hasn't he?
He should do the switcheroo now, lift off a little bit. No, he's too close to the inside, Canapino.
Canapino just on the right line, and Siggy, once again, he has a little dive through on Hamnet, but he can't do anything. There is just simply no room to put a Porsche. These three drivers just... They're almost too good for their own good, aren't they? No mistakes at all. Making sure that they hold position as Paul Watkins overtakes Tobias Olsen into turn one, and I think Olsen's burnt out his engine. Oh, what a shame for Olsen. And he grinds to a halt after a great drive out of the points. What a shame. Just such is the life of a WSS driver. We saw Sven de Vries in the very first event lose out as... Oh, what's happened to Fran Lopez? Oh, that's timing. Again, stop it, Fran. But either way, Canapino coming into Sector 3 now. I don't think there's going to be any chance for the guys behind him to be able to beat him now. In fact, he's had another great lap, and what a good time to have it as well. Coming around the final couple of corners now. Let's see just how close these guys are. I don't think anything's going to be done, is there? There's been no mistakes from any of these guys up the front. We are very sorry if you found that a bit boring, but well, what can you do? A masterclass in defensive driving from Agustin Canapino, who takes his first race win of the year, and Midnight second. Harley Hamnet comes home second, with Kevin Siggy third, Eric Strana fourth, Torborg fifth, Sven de Vries ahead of Ruud Hiesbeek in sixth and seventh, Matt Richards eighth, Van Lopez ninth, Mike Bell 10th, Marius Nicolai in 11th, with Paul Watkins 12th. And actually, to be fair, these guys at the back are still battling out really hard for those final points position. Paul Watkins with a train behind him. Though, yeah, I don't think anything's going to change. So it'll be Watkins 12th, Yuntin 13th, Sarpia 14th, and Morten Wernerson will round out the top 15. And we'll also start off our reverse grid poll, people. So in that group comes, as soon as my pen works, Wernerson, Bryson, Bracalo, Palm, Brewster and Mason. But a real shame for Olsen there, losing out at the very end of it all, and that's just cruel, really. But you got to be consistent and make sure that your engine doesn't blow, because it is so easy to do in these cars.
Back, I disconnect. Hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Yeah, I disconnected.
No problem. I was just saying, it's a shame for Olsen, after having such a good race, but one mistake like downshifting too many times or too quickly, and all that hard work can be undone. But it's just you got to deal with it, and you got to make sure that you're consistent so that doesn't happen.
Yeah, everyone finished out where they were before I went, didn't they?
Yes. And the reverse grid pole people are Vernerson, Bryson, Bracalo, Palm, Brewster, and Mason.
Be the same guys in that little slot, doesn't it?
Yeah, they always seem to pop up, and they might genuinely have a good chance at a fantastic result, considering how little overtaking we saw in that track.
Yeah, one guy I want, apart from David Yunt, I think, what was he, 13th-ish?
13th, yeah.
Yeah, I think he'll win, but one guy I would want to look out for in race 2, because he's actually done overtaking on this track, was Marius Nikolai.
Yeah, he had a great race, didn't he?
And Palm as well, he was good until he hit the back of, I think it was Sukas. And he's in those 17th-ish, wasn't he?
Interesting, there's an interesting thing here from Siggy. If that ain't exceeding track limits, then I'm Lincoln. And considering that the only people that were ahead of Siggy were Hamnet and Augustin, and given that Hamnet was agreeing with Siggy, there may be a potential case for Canapino exceeding track limits. I didn't see that from my angle, but perhaps from the angle of the two guys behind him, which is, let's be honest, the best place to see a driver going off track, that might yet put Canapino's win under a bit of threat.
Fortunate, because he's already had one loss, hasn't he?
Yeah.
In Spain. From my point of view, I did see a few cars go wide. I didn't see them lose that much time from it, gain that much time from it. I think I saw Harley go wide just as much, but I wasn't paying that much attention.
And neither was I. I thought most of the drivers were fine at Hockenheim, and then we had about God knows how many penalties. But anyway, let us now look to the most interesting part of the evening, for me at least. Well, no, it's not the most interesting. The racing's the interesting part. But I think for some of the drivers, this is going to be make or break. The 15 to 20 reverse grid race today could provide us with a surprise winner. So let's see who are in those positions to potentially be reversed. Morten Vernerson, who has taken a podium this season. Boy Bryson, who's looked fast but hasn't capitalised. Ilya Bracalo, who's been there or thereabouts but not really spectacular. Martin Palm, who hasn't taken a podium but has, again, looked there or thereabouts. Cameron Brewster, who has taken a podium. And Rob Mason, who has been in those sorts of positions but hasn't necessarily been able to live up to the hype of his teammate. So let's find out then who is on reverse grid pole for race 2. Your man is P16, Boyd Bryson. So for Bracalo, Palm, Brewster and Mason, a hard job ahead of them, but Bryson and Vernerson on the front row. David Yunt will be P6 or something. Looking very good for him, I'd say.
I think it's more like P4. So his strategy seems to work.
Yeah, P4, sorry, yeah.
Again, it seems like it's working this season, his strategy. I think he's won 3 times, hasn't he, in the reverse race? And he came second last time out in Hockenheim. Yeah,
Yunt is the man with the most race wins this season. All 3 wins were from reverse grid races. That was in Bahrain, Monaco, and not Canada.
Silverstone, was that? Is it Silverstone?
Yeah, I think it was Silverstone, yeah.
One nice stat I found whilst looking up on these kind of thing.
Sorry? I think we may very possibly have lost Ben Haxton for the moment. Yeah, I think we have, unfortunately. We'll wait for Ben to get back. But yeah, very interesting strategy from the Adonis, I think. They were there or thereabouts, but they just didn't seem to be pushing. And it was especially... Yeah, I think it was especially interesting as well that well, they decided to let De Vries through. So actually, let's have a look at what those positions mean. So they were 6 and 7, weren't they? So De Vries came home 6, so we got plus 10. Easterby came home P7, so we got 9 points. Young got 3, and Torborg got 11. So that means that Easterby still leads the championship, but it is now Adonis. Oh no, hold on. He's 150. No, so Easterby leads from De Vries, from Torborg, from Junt. In a race that's just completely moved about, but there you go. Will be interesting to see where De Vries and Easterby come out next time, though, because they are going to be well ahead of the likes of Torborg and other rivals like Strana, Canapino, Siggy as well in there. But yeah, David Junt in P4. We've seen him win from lower than that. Welcome back, Ben.
Oh,
you had a point to make.
Doesn't happen again.
Yeah, you had a point to make.
Don't know how far through I got before I disconnected, but I was going to say Edenis and Smile have exactly the same amount of wins, podiums, and poles this season.
Wow. That is an interesting sales. Also, I was actually talking about the Adonis cars and how they ended up 6th and 7th, and how actually they're in a pretty good position to extend their lead now at the top of the table. Because
one thing I'm curious about is did De Vries give Easterbeek back the place?
No, they are now separated by 1 point. Easterbeek on 100. Yeah. Actually, no, 2 points. Sorry, Easterbeek on 100. No, not even that. Get your maths right, James. 4. Wait. Yeah, it is 1 point. Sorry, Easterbeek on 150. De Vries on 149. I was looking at Torborg there.
Yeah, and Torborg will be 4 behind that.
Yeah,
and will be a bit further behind.
Junt's going to be 9 behind.
Potential to get everyone.
No, Junt's on 8. No, 8 behind. Yeah. So the championship now separated by 8 points.
I think that's going to close up again this race, though. That's between 4 drivers still. I'd say I've never seen a championship this close in anything before.
Neither have I.
With 25 points for a win as well. But you sometimes see it when F1 was 10 points for a win down to 8th with 1 point for 8th. But this 25 points for a win and being, was it 4 points between the top 3 after 15 races is crazy.
Yeah, absolutely mad. Mad. Should we just call it the Mad Sports Series? Or the Close Sports Series now? I don't know. But to be fair though, I think you're right. We're going to see this completely change once again. And, well, I'm not usually a betting man, but David Junt looks like he's almost, I wouldn't say guaranteed, but surely the odds are with him to take his 4th race win of the season.
Yeah, I'd say his odds on to win this race. It depends if he can get past. I can't remember who's ahead of him in 14th and 15th. It didn't look like he had the pace to be that much quicker than, but he did have the weight, and we don't know if he was being conservative trying to get this position for race 2. But also a thing to point out is that Edenis and Jesper don't have much weight this time, so we'll see their true pace if they can get through the likes of Richards and Lopez just ahead, and Mike Bell will be trying his best to hold up the 2 Edenis if they get to him.
Don't know who Ignace Augustonis is, but he shouldn't be here either way. But yeah, let's actually account. No, let's actually account for who has that weight penalty. So Canapino is 45. Hamnet 36, and we've seen Hamnet struggle in reverse grid races before. This is going to be his toughest challenge yet. Siggy with 27, Strana with 18, and Torborg with 9.
Yeah, I think anyone with 18 plus doesn't really have a chance of a good points haul unless there's a massive crash.
Which there may very well be, you never know.
First grid.
So, I have a feeling I know who your prediction for the race win in race 2 is going to be, but I'll ask you anyway.
I know, I want to go with Nikolai. I think Junt will win, but my heart says Nikolai, so I want him to win.
Your heart says Nikolai?
Yeah, I was really impressed with him at Le Mans. I haven't heard of him before. But head says Junt. I can't really see anyone else winning.
So apparently we're waiting on Cameron Brewster to return as Ignace. Learn your place, son. Here comes Lewis. Don't know what he's doing. Was removed from the game. Cam's sitting this one out. Oh, what a shame. So Cameron Brewster, he did have really bad lag in race 1, to be fair.
Yeah,
I think he's sitting this one out. Yeah, I think he's just sitting out to save him the pain. So what that means is that his teammate, Rob Mason, will actually gain a position because of that. Mike Bell saying, good luck, please don't hurt me. Can't really ever guarantee that, Mike, unfortunately. Harley says yes, but will. Well, let's see who's going to do the hurting and who's going to do the winning as we advance to the next session, hopefully soon. I hope. Let's go. Come on, there we go. Right. So let's actually have a look at this reverse grid. Interesting, okay. The other man mainly benefiting from that Cam going out was Thomas Hinds, who's starting in the top 20. So, an interesting grid.
Morten Fernison's up there again.
Yes, yeah, it's him and Bryson.
Podiums. He's had a podium, actually.
He has, yeah.
Monaco?
It was Monaco, yeah. Because, yeah, that was the best event
Canada.
for Drake, because Cantonen got a podium in the first race, and Bernison got a podium in the second race. But yeah, I was saying, you know, Junt's got a good chance of winning it, but it's not guaranteed.
Not guaranteed whatsoever. Nothing's guaranteed in racing.
Especially if the front two have anything to say about. Boy Bryson, ever the underachiever, now has a perfect chance to score big from Racing Team Schroten, who are in the battle at the bottom. He starts on pole position ahead of Morten Bernison. He's taken a podium before this season. Can he do it again in the Drake racing car? Riku Sarpia, pretty much the odd one out here. In P3 from Mazurek. David Junt, can he take his 4th race win of the season? Only time will tell in P4. Then we have the 2 TWRs. Paul Watkins slightly out of position in P5, but he's taken a 4th this season, also in Monaco. Perhaps this track going to suit those guys. And Marius Nicolai. Ben's hearty tip for the win in P6. It'll be interesting to see what the German can do, actually. Mike Bell starts P7 for Mazurek Racing with Fran Lopez P8 for Ice Cold. Matt Richards starts P9 for Midnight Motorsport, and Ruud Hiesbeek rounds out the top 10 for Adonis Engineering. Still in the championship, though only by 1 point now from his teammate Sven de Vries, who starts P11. Then we have the weight penalty men of Jesper Torborg with 9 kilograms in P12 for Smile. Eric Strahlen with 18 kilograms for Ice Cold in P13. Kevin Siggy with 27 kilograms for Waters Automotive, P14. Harley Hamnet with 36 kilograms for Enterprise GP in P15. And Augustin Canapino with the full 45 kilograms of weight ballast in P16 for Midnight. We then have Ilya Bracalo just missing out on reverse group pole position. P17 for Triple 20 with Martin Palm, P18 for Torrent. Rob Mason starts P19 for Cosmo Motorsport, and Thomas Hinds starts P20 for Tay4 Motorsport. The unlucky Miko Sukas, who was in contact with Martin Palm early in race 1, starts P21 for Lusitania with Quinton Plain, P22 for TTF. We have Miles Dixon, P23 for Triple 20, with the other Lusitania, Simon Watman, starting P24. Marius Van Wyck starts P25 for Deltec, and then we have the only 2 retirements from last race. Tobias Olsen, who unfortunately had an engine failure on the last lap after running in the points, starting P26 for Enterprise, and Alexander van der Woude starting at the back of the grid after a crash for Tay4 Motorsports. He starts P27. Cameron Brewster sitting out this race after lag problems became too much for the Englishman.
One thing I want to say is David Junt must be delighted it's going to be 16th, because in 17th and 18th you've got 2 very, very good drivers in other series predominantly, but they're still very good drivers here, Bricalo and Palm, who may not have been able to overtake, but now they're miles behind him.
Interesting position from Mike Bell there. You can see he's well out of his... He's well to the side of his grid box, but...
I know he'll be wanting to at least get a podium from this.
Let's see what happens. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights. And I think actually Boy Bryson made a jump start there, potentially. As we're off from racing now, it was a great start from Bryson. Also a fantastic start from David Junt. And Vert's going to try and do a Schumacher Barrichello on him. But David Junt is into P2 already. And will he make a dive for the lead on the first lap?
Got his nose. And Watkins running outside as well.
Great start from
pushing.
Watkins.
He's got it.
Wow, first corner, and David Junt is already into the lead of this race. Easy peasy, lemon squeeze, but now Paul Watkins on the inside of Bryson. On Lopez, what happened to him?
I went right up the inside of Nikolai, but he made it stick just. It was a bit of a dive bomb, but he parked it right on the apex. Could have gone very wrong, but it went very well. But very firm, but just about fair move from Yunt in turn 1, and he looks like he's already got his Sarpelia goes wide and loses about 4 positions.
Yeah, that was due to Fran Lopez pushing him out a bit wide there as he'll come streaming round this corner. Goodness me, you don't know where to look. But David Junt's got a lovely gap now over Boyd Bryson, who got away well, but not well enough as it seems. Paul Watkins, P3, still doing very well. He's got Fran Lopez, who's had an amazing start, the Spaniard. He's up into P4, and if he can dispose of Watkins and Bryson swiftly, he may actually have a chance to catch up to Yunt, and would therefore break the spell of having no driver score a race win in consecutive races. Morten Wernersen in P5 there. Marius Nicolai able to hold in P6. Ricky Sarpia, the big loser out of that, in P7. He's to be 8th. And I'm just having a look down. Let's see where Harley Hamnet is. He's P16, so again, not really cutting through the field like he is, but at least he hasn't lost a bunch of time. But coming round the final corner now comes David Yunt for Smile Power Racing. He's done it once again, and he leads this race from Bryson, Watkins, Lopez, Wernersen, Nikolai, Sarpia, he's to be Torborg, and Mike Bell rounding out the top 10, though only just from Sven de Vries, who's going to have a look on the inside. Here comes Sven de Vries down the inside.
Him through, but it looks like he's already got him.
Yeah, no choice.
Mishurikov in the foreground. Yeah, it's Sarpia going wide and now 9th.
Didn't lose. Oh, is that Hamnet coming up the order?
No, he's 15th.
Yeah, so he's gained a position.
Over, I think it was over Canapino. No,
yeah, it was over Canapino because he's now 16th.
Yeah, and he's flashing his lights. Something's happened.
Oh, and he loses another position to Martin Palm. So once again, not going so well for the Australian up front though. Watkins is trying his damned hardest.
Now past Nicolai as well. Just watching from a championship perspective, Heathspeak is doing really well. One thing about Fran Lopez is going around the outside of Watkins, but Watkins holds it. I think he might get a penalty for lap 1.
How so?
I don't really call it out, just from general contact.
Okay.
I remember it was with, he pushed quite a few people out wide. I've only seen it once, so I can't really tell, but it's possible.
It's fair play.
Battle for 10th looks quite good. Nikolai's dropped to 10th, he's not going to win anymore. He ever was. It looked quite good. It's all spread out a bit, as just I said that.
Yeah.
Quite good this season. It's Bell defense from Siggy, and Siggy goes around the outside into turn 13. Makes it stick. Very good move.
Lovely move.
Exactly the easiest driver to pass, and he's gone around the outside of a difficult corner to overtake.
Here comes Canapino as well. Oh, a bit of contact between the two there. And Canapino's going to try around the outside of 2 Midnights, scrapping away. This is actually pretty crucial for Val 4th and 5th once again.
Both the Midnights get it.
That was a great double team, wasn't it, from the 2 Midnights?
Yeah.
And Hamnet, he's pretty much the only.
Why are they going so close? The 2 Midnights.
They got to be careful. They don't want to take each other out.
There
is contact between the two.
Yeah, and that might let Bell have a look. I'm not sure if they're communicating, because Canapino's still in the championship at this time. I don't know if Richards knows that.
Oh, Palm! Wow, that was close. And Bell going. That's not the road, Mike.
Yeah, he's had a horrible few laps, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's been
down to 17th. Been fully down the field already.
It's all goodness me, up there. What was going there?
Torberg goes wide over the undercut and loses position to the Edenis.
Into PA goes Torborg.
How has de Vries caught onto the back of him so quick? Vries is right on the back of Heathspeak. He's just got round Torberg, who went wide at turn 4 over the undercut. And that's Wernersen going wide, both the Edenis through, and Torberg will want to get through as well. He needs to stay with the Edenis.
He's trying so hard, and is he going to make it sick?
Got it.
Great move from Jesper Torborg. What a great, masterful drive through Sector 2 that was. And Wernersen, unfortunately, dropping like a stone, as Fran Lopez also drops like a stone, but that is due to timing. Actually, out of interest, Fran Lopez is now past Paul Watkins, and Paul Watkins flashing his lights there.
Yeah,
so obviously
like
not happy.
Being very aggressive in what I was watching before. Wernersen is now under attack. He's lost a position. Sarpilla is now under attack from Nikolai and Siggy and Strana.
As what's that in the background? That's Harley Hamnet having a go on Palm once again. Nothing
Nikolai
doing.
and Wernersen make contact. Who said you can't overtake at Hungary?
It's gone. Where was all this overtaking in race 1, guys? Well, either way, Yunt and Bryson up front, miles ahead now. 1.1 seconds between those two. Then it's Lopez and Watkins. Watkins still staying in close proximity. P7 though, Jesper Torborg being pushed out wide by Sven de Vries. Jesper Torborg looks hungry, doesn't he? He looks hungry for positions. We haven't really seen this side of Torborg much this season. There's board Bryson. Oh, he spun! Bryson spun! Oh, curse of the commentator, and down he falls all the way down to, I think, P50. No, he's gone off the track again, out of the points, and it's all gone wrong for Boyd Bryson. What a shame.
I think he might have damage just letting everyone through.
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
Deary, deary me. Actually, oh, what is that? Look at that. Miko, Tobias Olsen up to P19 from what? P27 or 6? That's decent.
Yeah,
Decent stuff from Olsen, actually.
Again, everyone seems to be alright. Van Wyck's not. You can see most of the field in front of him.
Van der Wilder up to P22.
Yeah, again, no casualties at all. First lap, still 20 seconds bit to the leader.
But I tell you why this is such a crucial stage though. We're on lap 4 of 15 here. Once we go on to lap 5, we'll be pretty much a third through this race. But what I said should need to happen for an interesting battle for the front has now happened. Fran Lopez has been let loose.
Yep. And Watkins is only just ahead of Heasterbeek.
Yeah.
I don't think Yunt's got this. I don't think he's that quick compared to the other guys, is he? We didn't see any good times from him in practice or in the week leading up to this.
There could yet be a bit more drama yet. Stick with us, folks. Here at the Hungarian, we're on to lap 5 of 15 with the leaders. 2.8 seconds the gap between David Yunt and Fran Lopez. We shall see how that develops over the course of the lap. A further 1.3 back comes Paul Watkins under heavy attack now from Ruud Heasterbeek. And as much as I want Paul Watkins desperately to get a podium, I fear that
Strana down in 9th. He went around the outside of Nikolai with the weight penalty as well into turn 1.
And Heasterbeek's gone past Watkins as well. He did the good old switcheroo around turn 3 and turn 4, and so now Heasterbeek is up onto the podium as well. The gap between Yunt and Lopez is now 2.9 seconds, so it has actually increased over the course of this lap, but Heasterbeek has now been let free as well. He's only 4.7 behind. That can be cut down.
I'm not really sure on Fran's pace either. He can be very quick on his day, but he's not always that quick. I haven't seen that much from him in practice.
Watkins! Oh, Watkins has gone off!
Oh, it's had De Vries off. De Vries is off.
And that's going to be crucial for the championship. Let's see what happened there.
8th. And Strana.
Oh, that's a shame. So Watkins lost it on his own, and unfortunately Heasterbeek. Oh, as he pushes out Canapino wide, that's crazy. And Canapino flashing his lights. He is livid with De Vries. De Vries was very much an innocent party there. He was in the earlier incident, I should say, off into the wall, but Canapino is an angry man now, and I fear we may see a bit of red mist if he's not careful. As up ahead, there's Siggy and Sarpia going into battle. Sarpia back up into 5th, and look at Jesper Torborg as well. Because of all that, Torborg up into 4th. Canapino 9th now. Nikolai 10th. Harley Hamnet is into 10th, and who's into the points? So Paul Watkins is still in the points in P15, but he's under heavy attack. Actually, no, he's not, sorry. Rob Mason and Mike Bell are miles behind, and then Tobias Olsen is massively behind as well, battling away with Ilya Bracalo, but much more of a deadly race this one.
De Vries. Canapino's still in the shot for the championship, so is Fran Lopez. And going to be in it as well if he's finishes 2nd, but that's it. Remember, he might get a penalty. Watkins flashing his lights as well, so he might have 2 potentially.
Look at De Vries, he's not giving this one up, is he?
Looking 6th off Sarpia. And Sarpia, by the way, he hasn't been just sitting there making up the positions, he's actually been overtaking people. I've been watching.
Yeah. He's having a cracking race this Sarpia. Really good showing. As Harley Hamlet's gone past Morten Wernerson, actually. And is now right onto the back for the battle for 10th. So is he going to have a dive through on Marius Nikolai here? He has a little look, doesn't he? But he can't get anything done.
I think Heasterbeek is a lot quicker than Yunt.
Well, look, actually,
Yunt's done a 46.2 and a 46 in the last 2 laps.
Yeah, look at that gap. It was 3 seconds.
1.5 seconds.
I'm just saying, it's timing. I know it's timing, but that gap between Yunt and Lopez was 3 seconds, and at that last timing split, it went down to 2.3. So Yunt is absolutely struggling. You're right. As all
46s aren't going to win you this race. If people can do
No.
44.4s.
This is scrappy stuff from everyone. But we'll have a look at what the gap is across the timing line now. Yunt leads by 2.8 seconds,
8.
so 5 tenths in that sector alone.
This guy needs to watch out for.
Yeah, he's now 3.5 behind. But he
he's
needs to
only-
get past Lopez, though. That's the one thing about
Two of
this.
them really haven't been lapping that quick either. Heasterbeek's done 45.4 and a 45.5 after doing a 44.8, so that's his potential pace, and he's 6 tenths off it at the moment.
There's still a battle in this yet. There's, oh god, 9 and 10 is
the
starting.
fastest lap of his race of 45.6.
9 and 10 has gone a bit dirty. Sven de Vries and Marius Nicolai going into contact. Sven de Vries falling like a stone. Now, after he's lost his front bumper, he's been overtaken. Well, he's not been overtaken by Marius Nicolai, who's already ahead of him, but he's been overtaken definitely by Harley Hamlin. Oh, here comes Matt Richards looking around the outside of de Vries. And yeah, de Vries is struggling now, really.
That was just a case of Marius locking up into the corner you said was difficult to brake for, and he went wide and pushed de Vries with him.
And this could yet prove pivotal for that championship. It was an innocent mistake from Paul Watkins, which has put Sven de Vries in this position, but he needs to be a lot more careful. He needs to stay in that position. Didn't have a lot of luck at the
start of the season, did he? Does he not have a bumper?
No, he doesn't have a bumper, no. He's suffering. Well, mind you, I mean, Olsen was suffering with a similar problem in race 1, and he was able to hold on to P11 just fine.
But I think that's his pace. I think he was a bit quicker than P11.
There goes Palm down the inside of Wernerson. Great move from the Swede. As Watkins and Bell go into battle behind him. Mason's not too far behind as well. Ilya Bricalo.
Oh, as Bell dives right at Watkins, that was a bit of a nasty overtake.
I think we're going to be seeing a few more incident reports from this race than we'd like to say. But anyway, let's look at this battle up at the front once again. So, interestingly enough...
down the inside of Lopez.
Oh yeah, here he goes.
Yes,
this is it. But the gap was 3.5 between Yunt and Heasterbeek. It's now 3.1. So overall, the gap...
laps were halfway through.
Yeah.
Get past now, really.
Time's beginning to run out, and Jesper Torborg's not too far behind as well. Sarpia has been overtaken by Siggy, and is now in battle with Strana, though I think Strana should get that one. Oh, what's going on there? I think Matt Richards was in battle with Sven de Vries, and Marius Nicolai is actually really starting to hold up the likes of Hamnet. I think he is holding up Hamnet, de Vries, and Nicolai. Simply by virtue of putting it in the right place. And Richards, yeah. So Hamlet's going to have to make the move here, otherwise he's going to have the move done on him.
I think Yunt's gamble hasn't really paid off, even though it looks like he's still favourite to win this. It really hasn't paid off with Heasterbeek 3rd and Torborg 4th. And de Vries would have been up there if he hadn't hit the back of Watkins.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Rethink of his tactics for the next round, which is Spa. Good track to overtake on.
Yeah, indeed. In a month's time is Spa. Long wait, but hopefully you'll stick with us. We have our first retirement of race 2 in the form of Miles Dixon for triple 20. As we look now to the back.
Batting de Vries.
Ahead. And Hamlet's looking on the inside, or outside, sorry, if Nicolai can't do anything. But I think Richards might very well have de Vries here. Into the penultimate corner we go. Richards has the inside. That's a lovely move. Oh,
that's about the 4th time that's happened to de Vries.
And here comes Palm. Here comes Palm at the inside. Oh, a bit of a shove off from de Vries. Richards is through. But once again, you say contact involved there.
Yeah. I don't think he's going to be happy bunny after this.
And actually looking ahead, here comes Hamnet on Marius. Almost pushing Nicolai.
Oh, Top here's gone around the outside of Strana. And overcooked it a little bit.
So Strana goes through there. We look back now to Hamnet and Nicolai. Oh, Hamnet right around the outside.
Heasterbeek is spun in 3rd, 4th. He's
boy.
by himself trying to get past, and he's almost rejoined into Siggy.
That was close, and he rejoins in 5th. But Torborg, wow, Smile Power 1-3. This could not have worked out any better for those two. Really couldn't.
Yep.
Looks like Smile are going to be retaking the lead. And yeah, as we say,
this championship is crazy.
It is absolutely. It's like a pendulum swinging from one favourite to the next. Harley Hamlin, by the way, did make that move successfully around the end of Marius Nicolai. And now Matt Richards is going to have to do the same. Sven de Vries under heavy pressure from Martin Palm, and plenty of drivers behind him there as well to battle with.
2 points in this.
Absolutely.
Vries.
I think.
Especially,
Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, Ice Cold's probably had a good race again, but they had a good first race as well with Strana. Was he fourth? So it wasn't that good first race.
Yeah.
Really put them in contention. But they're going to still be there or thereabouts. So I think they're only 40 points behind, and between two drivers, that isn't too much.
Absolutely.
But I wouldn't have, if you want a championship team, I think Fran Lopez is the kind of guy you want. He's very good on one race. He can win races, no problem. It reminds me of Johnny Cicotto, but he can win races very well. But apart from that, he's not that good at going through. Well, he's good at going through the field, but he makes mistakes going through the field.
I think I would say Johnny Cicotto of old. I think Johnny Cicotto this year has been really good. But that's a really good analogy, actually, a really good comparison. He's got such good pace, and he has won races this year. He's won 2 races this year in the WSS, and he's done very well in Super. He just has those moments, doesn't he? And those moments, unfortunately, put a real bit of rust on his shiny metal car, and that's yeah. To be fair, he's in P2. He's doing well now, but I think there's going to be a couple of incidents which are going to be looked at throughout this event.
He's also one of the most wanted drivers on the grid at the moment. So young, and everyone can see the potential of him. I think he'll be a championship winner at some point in the next few seasons. Somewhere.
Hot nature, hot driving, in both senses of the word. We have a second retirement, by the way, in the form of Quinton Plain for TTF Racing. I think it's lap 10 of 15 now, so let's go through your point scorers. It's Jump from Lopez, Torborg Siggy, Hiesebig Strana, Sarpia Canapino, Hamnet Nikolai, Richards De Vries, Palm, Berneson, and Mike Bell ran out of the top 15, and running out the top 15 comfortably, about 3 seconds ahead of Rob Mason in 16th. But that said, we're expecting more penalties than race 1 before, so that could all change once those penalties are out for Hungary.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Smile have got a spotter in their TeamSpeak. I think Lewis is down there, but he might have noticed that Fran is likely to have a penalty and Torberg not to attack too hard.
Yeah, it could potentially be a Smile Power 1-2 by, well, you know, once the proceedings are all done.
I'm really hoping this championship isn't decided by penalties, because it seems to change after the race, every single race.
But then again, surely it's down to...
goes up the inside of Mason.
I would say, surely we don't want it to be decided by penalties, but it's the drivers who are making the mistakes, you know? So it's still the drivers in a sense. You know, the DC, which I'm in fact, you know, I'm part of the DC, and you are as well, you know, I don't think there's been too many mistakes being made this year. It's all been pretty clear cut, and the biggest loads of penalties were from Hockenheim, where we had a general review of exceeding track limits. I do wonder whether we're going to get called. Sorry?
Might get that again.
Yeah, well, especially with Canapino in race 1 as well.
Yeah, I was just watching it. It's more turn 4. I thought it was more turn 13 would be looking at, but it's turn 4, I believe, where most of it's happening.
I found a battle, finally. I was worried there was quieting down for a bit, but the battle for 10th between Marius Nikolai... No. Oh, De Vries is having a bit of a problem. Yeah, let's have a look at the battle for P10 here. Marius Nikolai and Matt Richards is... Oh, Lopez? Nope, don't worry, it's timing.
Yeah.
Really don't like that. But yeah, Nikolai just about holding on. A top 10 for TWR. Pardon me, dear me, would be excellent. But he's going to have to work, because Matt Richards is going to want that top 10 for himself. And I think it's pretty clear here that unless Enterprise can do something spectacular in the next couple of rounds, there's contact between the two. I think Midnight's got P4 nailed down quite nicely.
I don't think they'll be that far ahead. You don't get too many points for 8th and 11th.
Yeah, but you got 9th. Yeah, but you got to consider where's Olsen.
Yeah, but 11th is only 5 points.
Yeah, but Midnight's
not that much in the grand scheme of things.
But you got to. I think you got to remember.
That's a huge lag spike has made Bryson's spin. That was unfortunate. Down in 20th.
And he loses the position to the aforementioned Olsen, actually. Yeah, sorry. I think on this battle between Midnight and Enterprise, I think it's fair to say that Midnight have the more complete package, because they're consistently scoring, whereas Olsen has yet to score this season.
Have you got another driver coming back? Is Salo coming back? Or...
no, it's Olsen until the rest of the season.
Okay.
Actually, hold on. Bricalo's had a spin there, and Olsen's up into 17th. Don't know how that happened.
Bryson's off again. It doesn't look like he's going to catch it. Oh, his palm goes really wide in turn 4, and he's back down into 15th behind Mike Bell. Mike Bell will be attacking like crazy. I know he'll want to get past De Vries. Or his team, Smile.
Yeah, they're all being bunched up behind, aren't they? But De Vries is a wily defender, and he's doing exactly what Canapino did race 1. He's just taking all the lines slower and taking the right lines at that.
Tallberg is only 3 seconds behind Yunt, and we have no idea how far behind Lopez is.
Well, look how close. Look how close Torborg is to Lopez. Full stop.
Yep.
That is less than a second, absolutely. They might not need a penalty from Lopez to take P2. I think Torborg wants to take this one for himself.
Depends if he knows that and if he wants to take the risk. Not really. If you're going for a championship, it's not the kind of drive you want to battle with, Fran.
No. Let's have a look here. Torborg around the outside!
But maybe Fran's got his championship head. Oh, what a move that is.
What a lovely move from Torborg. He, who did that earlier? It was Hamnet around the outside of Nikolai, wasn't it? And Fan back
Lopez
through!
has done the switcheroo, and he's gone too wide, and Torborg's been calm and taken second place.
Good avoiding action from Torborg.
I can't remember who it was, but it was around the side. It was Nikolai on Bell, I think it was. Earlier on lap 2-ish. Carbon copy of that move.
No, yeah, it was Hamnet around the outside of Nikolai, I think.
Okay.
So wonderful move from Torborg. So now
Verneson has got De Vries, I think. They're alongside going through the kink. That is turn 3.
Yeah, but he's just about got it, hasn't he? And here comes, oh my word, Palm.
Where's Bell gone? Oh, he's dropped back.
Palm around the outside.
The inside.
I think Palm might get him on the cutback here. Oh no, maybe not.
So is that what we're looking for cuts wise?
Yeah.
De Vries said just over the curb. Yeah, I can see why people complain about that then.
Palm staying around the outside, but De Vries is going to cut off the line nicely. Yeah, it is.
It's still battling Stranda for 6th. They've been at it all race.
I've been super impressed with Sarpier this race, but he's got a bit of
and Hamnet.
Hamnet wants a bit of track space, doesn't he?
He's stuck behind. He must be sick to death at the back of that midnight.
Yeah, he must be. And he's his direct championship rival as well as Canapino.
Yeah, in teams and drivers.
In teams and drivers, he'll want to get past him desperately. And actually, to be fair, remember, Canapino's got 45 kilograms of weight. Harley Hamnet, he does have 36, but that's still 9 less. So there may be a chance. I mean, look at the exit that Hamnet got out of the final turn there. He may very well have P8 neatly sewn up.
Just one thing I want to say. Tallberg is 8 tenths quicker than Yunt with 4 laps to go.
As Hamnet does take Canapino. Hamnet takes Canapino.
2, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the penultimate lap now. So
yeah.
Harley Hamnet takes P8 away from Augustin Canapino. He has got one up on his championship rival though. Canapino down the inside as well.
If he's going to have the outside for the kink.
No, he's got him. So now it's a case of whether Harley Hamnet can take Sarpier
and
potentially
Strana.
take the fight to Strana. I'm not sure about that. But you make a very, very good point about Torborg. He hasn't won a race this season. I believe he's led the championship for the same amount of points. What was Canapino doing?
It looks like a clean move to me. It was very late on the brakes.
He sort of leans, didn't he? Yeah. He leaned, which is fair enough. Nice opportunistic move, and now he's having a look at Sarpier as well. Though he can't do anything, and Hamnet is just going to be sick of it, isn't he?
Yeah.
Absolutely sick of it.
Even that move on Sarpier slowed him right down. Hamnet could have got him, but it was just in the middle of the track and couldn't get past either side. You're getting frustrated.
And we're going to have one lap after this as well. I don't think Torborg has got enough time to catch up.
He's a bit caught the back of Siggy as well.
Oh dear. Lots to change. He's to be, of course, trying for the pride of the team here to try and salvage as many points as they can. At the moment, Small Power with a 1-2. That's 45 points in comparison to Adonis's 11 and 3 points. That's 14. That is a 31 point gap opened up right there in one race.
From a mistake which wasn't Adonis's fault as well. That's going to be even more gutting. And then he's to beat.
Well, what an interesting month of reflection we have as Matt Richards overtakes Marius Nikolai for that final 10th position. He's finally got the move done. And the and Augustin Canapino and Harley Hamnet have both gone past Riku Sarpia. Now let's have a look at that now. It looks like, okay, so weird. So that was so strange. And I think Ben Hagson's unfortunately disconnected, but Hamnet went to dive through on Augustin Canapino. Canapino then got Sarpia, and Hamnet was still able to get Sarpia after all that. So Canapino up into 7th, Hamnet up into 8th, and those three still battling away like madmen. But the gap at the front is still 2 seconds. I think it's going to be very much bring it home, boys. This is as good as it's going to get. Fran Lopez third still. Heasterbeek and Heasterbeek is still nowhere near Siggy, unfortunately. Strana in as well of his own. And it's still so close between Canapino, Hamlin and Sarpia. We'll keep an eye on that until the end. We're coming around the final couple of corners now. Comes David Junt. It's going to be a formation flyer for the Smile boys. It could not have gone any better this race. David Junt takes his 4th race win of the season, his 4th reverse grid race win of the season. Jesper Torborg makes it a Smile Power 1-2, and Smile are firmly in the racing. Oh, they're firmly in first place now, heading into the month break before the final 2 rounds of the season. Fran Lopez takes a podium, though whether he gets to keep it is another question. Kevin Siggy, P4, Eric Strana, P6, Canapino able to hold on for P7, Harley Hamnet, P8, Riku Sarpia, P9, Matt Richards, P10, Marius Nikolai, P11, Verneson, P12, Sven de Vries was able to hold on to P13, Mike Bell, P14, and Martin Palm rounds out the point scorers in P15. Your retirements of the day were Quinton Plain and Miles Dixon. So a very low attrition round, actually, surprisingly, for the Hungarian. But one where there's been lots of contact once again, and I wouldn't be surprised to see penalties inflicted. Right, and so hopefully we'll have some interviews from the podium drivers. But I should remind you, unfortunately, the GPVWC ladder as a whole is now going to be entering a phase of break. July and the early parts of August is going to be nice and calm, no racing, you can rest your weary heads, you can do something else, like picking blackberries or reading or something like that. Do something productive rather than watching this crazy stuff and then come back in a month and watch it all start up again. As I say, we only have 2 rounds left. Spa and then the finale at Monza. And I was just saying to the audience here, Ben, Smile Power firmly in the driving seat on this one. They could not have hoped for a better race too.
Yep, as we have seen, anything can happen in 2 races. We've just seen a 31-point swing, I think it was. By the looks of things, Ruud almost lost the place to Strana on the last lap as well.
Yes.
Just from the timing. But yeah, 31-point swing in 1 race. I think Ice Cold are just as much in the fight as Edness is now.
Yeah, potentially.
But if one bad race, if Junt's tactics of going for a win in race 2 doesn't pay off, that's 25 points gone.
Yeah.
And everyone's back in it.
It could all change. We shall obviously update you on the penalty situation when we get back in a month at Spa. But of course, if you do want to stay up to date with the very latest on penalties, then make sure to head over to gpvwc.com and you can check a drop down option for the WSS and have a look at the standings in, I believe it'll be a week's time, hopefully, when the final results as they are will be up. So then we have Kevin Siggy in the room, another podium for Waters Automotive, and I think it was P4 in the end for the team. Potentially P3, there may be a penalty for Fran Lopez to come. Another great event for you though, much better than Hockenheim.
Yeah, much better. I got a bit lucky, but in the second race they all got so clumsy at the first couple of laps because they were pushing each other all the time. But anyway, it sure does see that people aren't practicing as much in the summer. I think I was the only one very close to Hamnet. Other than that, it's been a great race. A nice battle, some nice battles on this track. On my worst track on the calendar, I think it was a decent podium.
It was a very good podium, I think, considering how close the battling was between top 5 of you even. Talking of the summer break, how are you going to approach it? Because some drivers choose to do no practice at all. They choose to just, relax for that summer break and then come back nice and refreshed. Some others choose to keep on practicing and essentially say, I've got a month to practice for Spa now. What approach are you going to be taking?
A lot of practicing, a lot. I think more than I did in the at the start of the season. Uh, I have all the time that I need. Just I'll practice as much as I can.
Question from me is: do you consider yourself a championship contender now? You've joined halfway through the season, and you're about 40 points behind the leaders, and you've got 2 podium or 3rd and 4th. Think you can snatch it?
Depending on the luck and the pace of the other drivers, but I can't. Maybe. It's, I don't know, a 5% thing that I'll maybe get the championship or not. Maybe close to 3rd place or anything. Just I'm looking on the 3rd place at the moment.
Yep. You seem like you're good with weight as well. Coming through to take 4th, I think with 27 kilos. Not a lot of drivers have been able to do that in the reverse races so far. I think you won the highest with the weight you've seen. You're going to practice a lot. I can see you doing very well in Spa and Monza.
Yeah, these are one of my favorite tracks. I can't wait to race on them. Yeah, I think a bit lucky with the penalty mass. I don't know. Maybe it's just my luck, or I don't know. I maybe have good pace. Not sure.
Right. Well, thank you very much for joining us, Kevin, and enjoy your summer break. And now we come to the man with 4 race wins this season, the man who stars in the reverse grids almost every time he steps into that car in race 2, and the man who has retaken the lead of the championship, David. It is ever so close. Coming into this round, the top 4 were separated by just 6 points. After today, race 1 seemed like it was still going to be in equal terms, but I think you can agree with me on this one. Race 2 could not have gone better for Smile. Yourself on 168 points, Torborg 2 points behind on 166, and Heasterbeek and De Vries languishing behind a bit now on 161 and 152 respectively.
Where to start about that? I guess this is going to be my strategy for the rest of the season for Spa and for Monza, because I think you've seen it already on the qualifying. I am like nowhere with some big weight in the car, and if you see what Roots, Ben and Jesper can do, they start much further up. So I've already had this plan in mind, and I was maybe not risking too much and staying behind the guys like Tobias Olsen, who lost his bumper and then had, I think, his engine expire on him. So I just stayed back there and thought, well, I'm gonna take some few points at least in first race, and then be as close to reverse grid pole as possible. And so I had that 4th position on the start, which I thought it was okay to be going on, and I was actually quite happy. I was inside, and then I had like the determination to do like at Monaco, jumping right to like 2nd, and the start was that good. I even managed to get on the inside of Boyd and take the lead, but it wasn't that easy. I mean, I finally had weight out, which made me much more confident with the car, but I saw that Boyd was doing really well. He was sticking to at 1.3 seconds behind me until he spun. And even after that, I had Fran and Roots. Before he spun as well, I really had them not really, I couldn't pull away. I was not fast enough, but it was enough to keep to the lead until the end, which was my plan, and I must really say it worked better than I expected, I guess.
After retaking the championship lead, you essentially guarantee yourself as the man who's led the championship for the longest amount of time, as we now have a month break. When we come back, there are only 2 more rounds remaining, Spa and Monza. My first question is, do you enjoy those tracks? Are you comfortable at them? And my second question is, do you thoroughly believe that you can win this championship?
Well, on to first. Spa. I think of Spa as, well, of course, historical, traditional track that's nearly everybody loves, or at least admires as one of the most historic, iconic ones. But I have to say, I think each time, maybe in touring cars, also in this, I think I enjoy, or at least I do better when the tracks are like more technical and you need to be precise with your driving, and it's not too fast, because I think I'm not really doing well on tracks that are quite quick, and that's my issue in Monza. If you have one, I think if you go one bit off the apex in braking, you're just losing like half a second, and with ballast that will be gonna be madness. But I say I like Spa more than I do with Monza. That's why I'm trying to get as much points before Monza as I can, because I don't really know what's gonna happen in the last race. And this is leading on to second. Yes, I still think I've got enough to get this championship, because I've really put my head into it. Well, you could say that's the guy that's sometimes practicing until one day before the race, but just the determination and a bit of the disappointment of Austria, which was a needless disconnection, that's still driving me on, and the determination just to get this championship, just to hang in there and fight as much as I can. So I think I have a chance, and I won't give up until last turn.
Well, I think none of us are going to have any idea what happens until it actually happens, David. So enjoy your summer break, and we hope to see you back strong as ever. It's interesting that you stick with that strategy for the rest of the season. We'll see whether it works out for you. And, well, for you guys at home...
One thing, I think I've worked out the championship points. We've got Fulborg on 166, Junt on 164, and Heespeak on 162.
Junt's on 160...
I haven't worked out.
Junt's on 167, sorry.
Is he?
Yes.
I guess he finished 13th and he came first. So 28 points.
From 139.
Yep, sorry.
No worries.
It
was actually a mistake on my part. I said 168 at first. So actually it's 1 point between Torborg and so it's as close as ever. But if you want some close racing before GPVWC heads out onto its July break, then make sure to join us in a week's time, where the career ladder heads to the Hungarian themselves. Formula Challenge on the Tuesday, Super Cup on the Wednesday, Super League on the Thursday, as always. And then be sure to keep an eye out for on the GPWC calendar as we return in early August for all your fantastic racing action once again. The championship is as close as ever, and we certainly hope to see you on the other side. I'd just like to take a moment to thank our cameraman for this evening once again, Dave Carr-Smith, always here, always helpful, wonderful camera work. To my co-commentator, Ben Hackerson, for being a great spotter and helping me out with co-commentary. I've been James Kirk, and from all of us here, have a lovely summer break. It's very warm. Goodbye.